Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Dharma with Streaming Diamond Sutra 101. So today is our class 7. We already completed 6 classes, which we discussed a lot about non-abiding. The non-abiding to form, to not form, the non-abiding to phenomenal and non-phenomenal, the non-abiding to giving and non-giving, merits and non-merits, Buddha and non-Buddha, and even karma. Also, we shouldn't abide to. And even enlightenment, we shouldn't abide to. So this is something that we had already discussed for the 6 classes. And you already have this very basic understanding of what the Diamond Sutra actually telling us the teachings of non-abiding, which is also the teachings of emptiness and impermanence. And last class, I did ask all of you to think about something. Since in this sutra, it keeps telling us to have this notion of non-abiding. But I asked this question last time is that, in that case, what should we abide to? And what should we not abide to? And also when we say that we should have the notion of non-abiding, this notion of non-abiding, is it already the notion of abiding? So how should we practice the teachings of this, in this Diamond Sutra in our daily life? What should we do? How should we do? So this is something that we have to think about it. And don't forget one thing is that cause and condition. Because cause and condition change all the time. Is there anything that you can abide to? Anything? Or is there, when we say that since it's emptiness and impermanence, in this case is that should we not abide to anything and become a very lazy person, irresponsible person, no direction person? Is this correct? Is this the teachings from the Buddha about impermanence and cause and condition, and also emptiness? So in this class, we will continue to read or to understand what the Buddha is trying to tell us again and again. If you really chant this sutra, you will realize something is that the Buddha keep repeating the same thing again and again, but in different directions. But if you really analyze it, you realize that actually this sutra is not that difficult, which we will be doing a summary in the last class, which is next week. Next week's last class, we'll do a summary, and you realize something is that it's not so difficult. The most difficult part is that do we want to accept it? Do we want to accept it? Do we want to use this teaching in this sutra in our daily life for us to reduce the suffering in our life? So this is something that I would like to discuss with all of you in this class and also next class. Now I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so we continue. We continue in what the Buddha is trying to say and what Shibuddha is trying to ask. So in here, the Shibuddha said, World-honored one, the Tathagata has said that a great human body is not a great human body, and that it is why it is called a great human body. This great human body in Buddhism basically is talking about a person that have great compassion, and also with the kindness in him or her, that they willing to help other people, not including including sacrifice themselves. So when the Buddha says that, oh, this is a great person, helping a lot of people, but actually it's not a great person. When we have this thought of not great person and a great person, in between this, then this is called great person, which means that we still have the notion of this great person. He's a kind person, he's a very compassionate person, he's a great person, but we should not abide to this terminology or form. When we not abide to this terminology or form, that's why it is not a great person. And when we're not abiding to it, it will become a great person. So where should we abide to? Abide to the first great person, abide to the not great person, or abide to the last one great person? Which one should we abide to? And here, the Buddha said, Shibuddhi, a Bodhisattva is just like that. And if he said, I should liberate all sentient beings, then he is not a Bodhisattva. And why is this? Shibuddhi, in reality, there is no phenomenon called Bodhisattva. And for this reason, the Buddha has said that all phenomena are not without self, without others, without sentient beings, and without longevity. So in here, the Buddha emphasized to us again and again is that if the Bodhisattva have this notion of liberating the sentient beings, then this person is not a Bodhisattva, because he already have the concept that I have something or somebody that liberate. So this person is not qualified to be a Bodhisattva. The reason is because in reality, there is no phenomenon called Bodhisattva. There's no phenomenal I. So since there's no I, then there's no Bodhisattva. And since there's no I, then there won't be something called liberate in this term, and there won't be something called that person. So that's why all phenomena, including I, including the action, including the other party, are without self, without others, without sentient beings, and without longevity. Longevity means that what? Lasts for a long time. It won't end. So this is why we call it as emptiness. It's not to deny. It's not to deny that the I is not there. It's not the denial of Bodhisattva is not there. It's a seeing through beyond our basic understanding. We see through that in this nature of I, basically it's changed all the time. So which time is really called the I? The same as Bodhisattva. It changes all the time. It can be a male, it can be a female, it can be an old person, it can be a young person, it can be a children. So what is the reality of the Bodhisattva? It's a non-phenomenal, non-self, due to the changes of cause and condition. Okay, so next. One body sees all. And in here, the Buddha asked Shibuddhi, Shibuddhi, what do you think? Does the Tathagata have eyes of flesh or not? And Shibuddhi says, yes, World Honor One. The Tathagata has eyes of flesh. This eyes of flesh means that our eyes here. So the Buddha asks, does this Buddha, so-called Buddha, has the eyes of the fresh eye or not? And Shibude said, yes, 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 the Tathagata has the fresh eye. And Buddha continued to ask, Shibude, what do you think? Does the Tathagata have heavenly eyes or not? And Shibude said, yes, Honored One, the Tathagata has heavenly eyes. And Buddha continued to ask, Shibude, what do you think? Does the Tathagata have wisdom eyes or not? Shibude said, yes, Honored One, the Tathagata has wisdom eyes. And the Buddha continued to ask, Shibude, what do you think? Does the Tathagata have Dharma eyes or not? And Shibude said, yes, Honored One, the Tathagata has Dharma eyes. And again, the Buddha asked again, does the Tathagata have Buddha's eyes or not? And Shibude said, yes, the Buddha has, or the Tathagata has Buddha's eyes. So in here, the Buddha asked Shibude, does the Tathagata has the eyes of flesh, the eyes of heavenly, the eyes of wisdom, the eyes of Dharma, and the eyes of Buddha? And Shibude said yes. And in here, the Buddha said, the Tathagata fully knows and fully sees the minds of the sentient beings in all of this world. And how can this be? The Tathagata has said that all minds are not minds, and that thus they are called minds. And why is this so? Shibude, the mind of the past cannot be obtained, the mind of the present cannot be obtained, and the mind of the future cannot be obtained. So in here, what does this mean? The Buddha asks all these questions about the eyes, means that what the Buddha actually sees. He can see what we see, yes. He can see more than what we see, like heavenly, like wisdom, like Dharma, and also Buddha. I mean the level. So he can see through all sentient beings, or all beings. He can see through. Even in the level of Buddha, in the level of Bodhisattva. He knows and sees the minds of all beings. Because he understands that all mind here. Because when we see things, these external factors get into this will call fresh eye, and get into our consciousness. This consciousness, we call it the mind here. Call it the mind. So the Buddha says that because he understands that all minds are not minds, and that thus they are called minds. Why he said so? Because the mind changes very fast. Now I'm trying to convey certain information to you. What can you hear now? What I said before already gone. But this sentence that I said just now, somebody will get into here. Somebody never get into here. Somebody get into here, but they can only remember for 5 minutes. And somebody get into here, they remember for their whole life. So which mind is the true mind? Which one is the mind that is really unchanged? Since it changed, that's why it's not called the mind. That's why it's not called the mind. The mind keeps changing and changing. And because our mind change the past, the present, we change. It cannot be obtained. It cannot stay there. And the mind of the future also cannot be obtained. Why is this so? Just imagine. Some people say that, oh, I want to be a rich person. I want to be a rich person. So this is a dream. But next day, this person will say that, oh, it's too difficult to be a rich person because I need to work very hard. In that case, I will be a normal person. I just earn enough money for my family and for myself and live a happy life. So I want to get a family. And the next day, this person think that it's so difficult to get married because I can't find a person that I love so. And also, if I want to have a family, which means that I have the burden. I have the burden of maintaining this family, especially when this person have a kid. He needs to make sure that the kids have the proper education. So this person will say that, oh, it's so difficult. In that case, then I better be a single person. I can have a lot of girlfriend or boyfriend, but I'm not going to have a family. It's too challenging. So our future also cannot be obtained because we change all the time. We change due to the conditions. And the past, no matter how you try to recall, no matter how much you do not want to let go, it will keep changing as well. Even the sorrow. The only thing is that if we too abide to the sorrow, sometimes it will even get worse. It's also changing. Also, there's nothing to obtain. The same thing as present. I already mentioned is that now I am saying this. Which one is now? Now is now or just now is now? So can it be obtained? No, it can't. So when we face the challenge and suffering, think about this. Can we obtain? Can we obtain the past, the present, and the future? We can choose to live a miserable life, but it will still become past. And it can be your future too. We can choose to lead a happy life. The happy life pass. And the happy life will come, we don't know. But there's one thing that we know. We can control here, even though it's impermanence. We can choose to be happy now, but now will become past. And also it will become future. And the future will become past, and now, and future. So it's going round and round and round. So what's the point of making our life so difficult? Okay. So continue. Universal transformation without the Dharma realms. The Buddha asked Shibudi, what do you think? If someone were to feel the 3,000-fold world system with the 7 treasures and use them for giving, with this as a cause and condition, would he attain immense merits? And Shibudi say, so it is, world honor one. With this as cause and condition, he will attained immense merits. What do we mean by here? The Buddha asks is that if a person have a lot of treasure, so they call it the seven treasure as according to Indian mentality, their culture, have a lot, and this treasure are able to fill up the whole world system and use this to give to people as a gift, and use this as a cause and condition. Remember, cause and conditions change all the time. It cannot be hold on. So if this person has this mind is that, okay, I have so much treasure, I'm going to give it out to people, but I have this mind that all this thing, this action of giving, and this so-called people are due to cause and condition. Should be something that should not abide to. So can this person attain immense merits? And should we say yes? The reason is because if this person has the mentality or the understanding that all things are caused by cause and condition, even the merits is not merits. When he has this understanding and mentality, he will not be restricted by merits. And that's why the merits that he attained is immense merit. It's not something that can be restricted or just this quantity. It's everywhere. So the Buddha continued to say, Shibuddhi, if there really was such a thing as merit, the Tathagata would never speak about attaining immense merit. It is only because there's no such things as merits that the Tathagata says that immense merits can be attained. So some of you might ask me is that, Venerable, when we volunteer in the temple, the Venerable always says that when you practice, when you volunteer, when you do charity, you will have a lot of merits, and you can bring these merits to your future life. Remember, we talked about different level of cultivation. Some people, they choose to be reborn as a human being, but maybe a rich human being. Some people choose to reborn in the heaven and become heavenly beings. Some people choose to become an arahat. Some people choose to become a bodhisattva. And some people choose to attain like a Buddha. So for those people not ready to have this teaching of non-abiding, this teaching of reality, these teachings of the truth, we need to use this skillful means to guide these persons, to do good things. Good things have good thoughts. But a person, when they already understand this and are already doing this, then we need to guide these persons to go beyond it. Go beyond it means that I am doing this thing, but actually I'm not doing this thing. Because I'm not doing this thing and I'm doing this thing, that's why I'm doing this thing. I will not be abide to so-called doing, to so-called I, and to so-called this thing. So this is called a higher level. So if there is the mind of merits, then the Buddha would never say about the Bodhisattva or this person attaining immense merits. And we so-called this person means the persons are supposed to be practicing the Bodhisattvahood. Practicing the Bodhisattvahood. Okay, the next topic. Beyond form and notion. The Buddha asks again, Shibuddhi, what do you think? Can the Buddha be seen as his physical body, complete, with the 32 marks of excellence and 80 noble characteristics? This is something that actually indicated in the sutra, as according to the Indian, their cultural thinking. And Shibuddhi answered, no, World Honor One. The Buddha should not be seen as his physical body. And why is this? The Tathagata has said that his complete physical body is not the complete physical body, and that this is what is called the complete physical body. So this is something that you have been hearing again and again, but in different topic or different directions or different examples, again and again and again. And now it comes to the example of Buddha physical body. Some people say that, why do you folks worship to a statue? To a statue, so-called the Buddha statue, or worship to the Bodhisattva statue. If here, they say that, if here the Buddha says that, when this person see this physical body, does this person really see the physical body? And Shibuddhi say, no. If in this case, then why do we need to have this statue there? Do you ever think about it before? Before the Buddha passed away, he told his disciple, monastic and lay members, not to make the statue for him using his image. Basically, the Buddha against in having a physical statue for people to worship. He against that. He do not want his disciple to attach to the form. So in the beginning, after the Buddha passed away, for about few hundred years, there's no such thing as Buddha statue. But the lay members missed the Buddha so much. They want to have something to symbolize the Buddha. But the Buddha already gave this instruction to them, is that, no, I do not want the statue of my image. So what do? They create the Dharma ram, the ring, the Dharma ram. They create the foot of the Buddha. They create the Bodhi tree, using stone to carve all this image out, to be a symbol for them to worship, or for them to pray. Why is this so? Because we humans are too weak. We are too weak. When we face with challenge, we do not have strength here. When we do not have strength, it's our tendency to look for something that we can rely on. So humans start to create statue. is a skillful means. When we do not have strength in here, then we look for certain things to help us. However, when we have strength in here, we do not need all this. And you will ask me is that, when will I have strength in here? You know about it. When you're faced with all challenge or any things that make you happy or sad or angry, you won't have very high type of happiness or very high type of anger or very low type of emotional reaction. You just see things as normal. When I say normal, means that you see beyond this thing. You know that this thing is impermanence. You know that this thing is giving challenge to your physical body. But also you know that its impermanence is giving challenge to me, but there's no me, there's no challenge. I just face it as normal. It's supposed to be like this. Just face it as normal. Not being defeated by something that you think is real. Something that I am real. This challenge is real. When we think that I am real, this challenge is real, then the feeling from this challenge will become real, which is something which is not true. Because we abide to I, so-called real. I abide to challenge, so-called real. So I abide to what? The feeling that I'm feeling in, the fear. The fear, the anger, the joy, the depressed, the happiness, all kinds of emotional feeling will arise. And it will affect our daily life, including our body. So the Tathagata says that his physical body is not the physical body, and that's why it's called the physical body. So to us, in the temple, we have the Buddha statue. Even in my apartment, we have the Buddha statue. I'm wearing something here is a Guanyin Bodhisattva. And you will ask it, Venerable, why do we need a Buddha statue here? Why do you need what do you call this, something that I'm wearing, the Guanyin Bodhisattva image? It's a jade. Before I became a nun, I bought this jade when I get my bonus. So for already 30 years. And you will say that, Venerable, why do you abide to it? When I have this statue here, I have this jade here, it's here. But if one day I lost this jade or the Buddha statue get damaged, the jade is not here. The Buddha statue get damaged. In this case, that's it. And that's why it's called jade and it's called Buddha statue. So what I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with the Buddha statue. There's nothing wrong with the chanting bits. There's nothing wrong with things, with the things that we currently using for our cultivation. The key issue is that we too abide to it. We thought that it's real. Because it's real, we want it to be forever. When we want it to be forever, in our emotional reaction, when it's here, we are happy. When it lost or get damaged, we get sad, angry, miserable, because we attach to it. But if we don't attach to it, when it's lost or damaged, this is part of the reality. Why? It's impermanence. Everything changes all the time. It's just indifferent of time. So this is what the Buddha says, that, well, you still can have the physical body of me, But actually, this physical body of me, so-called Buddha statue, is just a statue. It's not just a statue, and it's also due to cause and condition, and it's not the real one. And that's why it's real. So we should not attach to it, and also we should not deny it. Because some people, when they practice, they do not want to have any statue. But the question is that, do they have this ability to really face challenge and not being disturbed? Do they have this ability to see beyond this phenomenal world, to see the truth of this phenomenal world, and also to see the non-truth of this phenomenal world? It really depends on what you think. But if you are facing the challenge and you feel really unhappy, fear, depressed, then it's better for you to have a Buddha statue that you can rely on. Okay, so we continue. The Buddha continued to ask, Shibuddhi, what do you think? Can the Tathagata complete in all forms be seen or not? The Shibuddhi said, no, world honor one. The Tathagata should not be seen as complete in form. And why is this? The Tathagata has said that complete in form is not complete, and that is what is called complete in form. So the same thing as what we discussed earlier. Can the Buddha be seen complete in form or not? The same thing is that a lot of people thought that the Buddha can be seen and rely on. But actually, the Tathagata want to tell us is that the Buddha is actually in us. We can only rely on ourselves. So the Buddha form is not form, and that's why it's form. When we attach to this form, it will bring us suffering. So we should see beyond it. Here, speaking the unspeakable, the Buddha said, Shibuddhi, never say that the Tathagata has this thought. I have spoken the Dharma. Do not have that thought. And why is this? If someone says that the Tathagata has spoken the Dharma, then that person is defaming the Buddha, and he does not understand what I have been saying. Shibuddhi, when a person speaks the Dharma, no Dharma can be spoken, and thus it is called speaking the Dharma. What does it mean here? When we hear the Dharma, the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, the Three Dharma Seal, we chant the Sutra, we have this tendency that we attach to it. The Buddha says that life is suffering. The Buddha says that the cause of suffering. We have this tendency to attach to it. The Buddha did not say that this is not right. But if we attach to it so much, we forget something about cause and condition. Don't you realize that when a person faces a challenge, some people will take it very seriously and they suffer a lot. Somebody will look at this thing and say that, well, yeah, we have this challenge, and they only have 50% of suffering. And somebody look at this thing and say that, well, this is the part of the life. We just accept it. We just face it. This person maybe only have 20% of suffering. And somebody maybe don't even have any percent of suffering. So we can't define suffering. The same with everyone. Different people have different karma. So their feeling of facing the challenge will be different. So we should learn the Dharma, but we should not attach to Dharma. The reason is that we need to understand the cause and condition and to apply the Dharma in different cause and condition, which we call it in Chinese called yin yuan. So we have the attachments to the Buddha's teaching. However, in the Diamond Sutra, it says that if someone says that the Buddha has spoken the Dharma, then this person is defaming the Buddha. And you will say that, well, Venerable, you are the one that taught me that. What is Dharma? The Dharma is the teachings from the Buddha. And now you say that if I say the Dharma is the teachings from the Buddha, then I am defaming the Buddha. So what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? When a person speaks the Dharma, no Dharma can be spoken. Thus, this is called speaking the Dharma. Why is this so? Why is this so? Again, come back to abiding. If we attach to this abiding, we won't accept what other people say. So somebody says that, oh, the Buddha teach us the Four Noble Truths. So the teachings in other sutra are not originated by the Buddha. So you guys are not supposed to read all these sutra because it's not from the Buddha. So what I learn is what the Buddha's teaching. So I'm going to deny everything. Somebody have this thinking. And so abide to this that they even challenge other people. And definitely will cause what? Bad affinity. And this is not what the Buddhas want. So the Buddha says that I speak the Dharma, but there's no Dharma can be spoken. And that's why I'm speaking the Dharma. Not abiding to the Buddha, not abiding to the speaking, and not abiding to the Dharma. And next, the Buddha continued to say, Shibudi, what do you think? Do not say that the Buddha has this thought. I should liberate sentient beings. Shibudi, do not have this thought. And why is this? In reality, there's no sentient beings for the Tathagata to liberate. If there were sentient beings for the Tathagata to liberate, then the Tathagata would have the notion of self, others, sentient beings, and longevity. And that's why, if the Buddha has this thought, this person has not really reached or has not attained that particular level of enlightenment. Previously, we talked about Bodhisattva should not have this notion of liberating sentient beings. And now it's the Buddha says that if a Tathagata, means the Buddha, have this thought that I liberate sentient beings, then this person is not a Buddha. So, Shibudi, when the Tathagata speaks of a self, it is the same as no self, and yet all ordinary people take this as a self. Shibudi, the Tathagata says that ordinary people are not ordinary people, and that this is called ordinary people. Ordinary people means us. So the Tathagata, when he looks at all people, to him is that there is these people, there's also not these people, and that's why it's called all these people. It's called ordinary people. It's just a cause and condition at that time. We can also say that Shibudi, when the Tathagata speaks of a self, it is same as no self, and yet all animals take it as a self. Shibudi. The Tathagata says that animals are not animals, and that is what is called animals. It's not just for ordinary people. You can also say that Tathagata speaks of a self. It is the same as no self, and yet all computer take it as a self. And Shibudi. The Tathagata says that computer are not computer, and that it is called computer. This is what the Buddha really see. He did not deny that thing, but he see beyond that thing. And because he see beyond that thing, that's why this thing is called this thing in the name of. So in here, it is a gata. If anyone should think that I can be seen among form, or that I can be sought among sound, then that person is on the wrong path, and he will not see the Tathagata. This is very important, very, very important. If a person says that I see the Buddha, if the person says that I hear the Buddha, and this is what the Buddha said, and this is the image of the Buddha, this person basically already in the non-path, in the wrong path, because he's already abide to this particular image, to this particular teachings or wordings. But the teachings from the Buddha is very, very broad. Why is so broad? Because there's so many sentient beings. He can't use one teaching for everyone, because he understands about the cause and condition. And that's why if somebody says that, oh, I see the Buddha and this is the image of the Buddha, we cannot change it. This is the teachings of the Buddha. I hear the Buddha said, or this is the sutra that originate from the Buddha's time. Then this person is on the wrong path. And he will not see the Buddha. He only see what he wants to see. Okay, so nothing is ended and nothing is extinguished. Shibudi, suppose you had this thought. Those who initiate the mind of Untitled Samyak advocate the Dharma of annihilation, do not have this thought. And why is this? Those who initiate the mind of Untitled Samyak is regards to the Dharma. Do not advocate the notion of annihilation. Do not abide to this notion, whether it's annihilation or emptiness or impermanence or Untitled Samyak or attainment or enlightenment, is supposed to not to abide to. If we abide to it, then it's difficult for us to see beyond the truth. Okay, so in today's class, basically the Buddha wants, in this level, is that the Buddha wants us to understand what the Buddha sees. What is the truth of the Buddha? What is the truth of what the Buddha attained? And also most important is that what is the mind of the Buddha? So think about it. What is the mind of the Buddha? Does the Buddha have this mind? Or no mind? Or this mind? So we will end our class today. And next week will be our last class, which is very important because I'm going to do to summarize the core teachings in the Diamond Sutra, using different charts for you to understand that this sutra basically is not that difficult. The difficult part is that whether do we accept? Can we accept it? Do we want to accept it? If you accept it, you will understand it. If you do not accept it, it's difficult for you to understand it. So thank you very much, and I will see you next week. Amitofo.